This is Brandon Hewitt. I'm an attorney at Michigan Auto Law, and I am very honored to be here with the winner of our Diversity Scholarship, Amanda Bass. And we're just going to talk just a couple minutes today about the scholarship, about Amanda more importantly, and just learn a little bit about her and kind of what she's going to be doing here as she proceeds through law school. So Amanda, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Brandon, and also thank you for this generous scholarship.
It's absolutely our honor, and very happy to see it go to somebody so very, very deserving. Amanda, so I want to talk about, because you sent in a great application, a great essay about your experiences, and we were absolutely compelled to obviously give this to you. So tell everybody a little bit about, where you're from and what brought you to apply to law school and what you're hoping to accomplish after law school.
Okay, sure. Well, my name is Amanda Bass, and I'm from West Chicago. I decided to go to law school after a couple of years of just being intellectually curious about the law and the way that it both functions as a tool to affect social change in a positive way, but how it also can be used to reinforce and perpetuate injustice. And so as an undergraduate Black Studies major, I wanted to just explore those issues and ended up doing so in a thesis that I wrote at the end of my time in undergrad. And then I had, during the time that I was in college, taken some time off to work for 6 months as a community organizer in Georgia, working primarily with voter registration initiatives that were meant to address the fact that in Georgia at that time there were over 600,000 eligible but unregistered African American voters. And so during that time I encountered just tremendous obstacles to even allowing people to access their right to just something basic, which is just the ballot. And I saw the way that laws that are ostensibly race neutral in practice had a very discriminatory impact on poor and working class people of color. And so that led me to really want to understand more about this system and to understand more about the law, and to come to law school to do that, and to also figure out how within this system is it possible to both affect positive changes for people who are marginalized and don't have access to this very unique, specialized body of knowledge, but then, to also figure out ways of reimagining a more just and humane system. And in terms of what I, hope to do after, I would like to work in direct legal services. At the moment, I'm interested in human rights work with a focus on more labor issues, but I still have 2 years left in law school and hope to develop a clear idea of where exactly within that field I can find my place.
It's really unbelievable to hear, a young person say that, and it's encouraging to I think hopefully everybody watching this, that there are young people out there that care enough to make such a big change and not just talk about it and take the steps as becoming a lawyer, because we speak for so many people who can't speak for themselves. Mm-hmm. And so I want to thank you for pursuing what you're pursuing, and I know that you're going to be extremely successful in whatever path you do decide to take, and hopefully be a big part in changing the problems that we do see happening. And I know that a lot of people are really going to benefit from your knowledge and your passion. So thank you. What are you? I just want to ask you kind of one major question about diversity in general, I guess. What are some of the biggest issues you see, or maybe a single big issue that you see facing minority students in law school, or kind of pursuing a path that you're taking, whether it's a personal challenge that you have faced, or what you see kind of generally that minority students are facing, or minorities are facing, that others might not be?
You mean in law school specifically?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think the thing that stands out the most is just the absence of a more critical perspective in even the study of the law that brings into question the way that racism, patriarchy, and classism actually inform just not only the law and jurisprudence, but also the legal institutions within which we as students are studying, and we as lawyers, well, as a future lawyer, I will, be practicing. And so one of my frustrations first year was the absence of that perspective. And so I think as a result, there was a tendency in the classroom for students of color to not really feel like they could have a voice in bringing those issues to bear. But then also there was I think, tendency to just accept the frameworks within which we were learning the law as legitimate, and to not question them, but just to learn how to, maneuver within them and to uphold them. And I think that's troubling. I think that there needs to be also, coupled with just the study of the law, a more critical perspective, more critical understandings of the way that the law and institutions can actually, affect negative change or maintain the status quo to the detriment of people of color or people of color.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, that kind of goes right along with what you're pursuing, right? It's just challenging the status quo, and what we learn in law school is critical thinking and challenging those things. And so it's sad on one hand, and also encouraging on the other hand that somebody like you is stepping forward and willing to make that stand on those things.
Thanks.
So, one last question, I guess, just for future applicants of this scholarship, and hopefully we can be of some assistance to other people in the future. How did you find the scholarship? What led you to apply for it? And just tell us a little bit about that process you went through.
Sure. So I learned about Michigan auto law last year while I was researching various scholarships available to law students. And in applying for scholarships, it was important to me to apply to organizations that I felt like were doing good work. And so I read through some of you all's attorney profiles and client testimonials, and I, through your firm's website, ultimately came to see that you guys are doing great work helping victims of auto accidents seek redress for their injuries. And so for anyone interested in applying for scholarships, I would just say, research and apply broadly, and apply to places that you would feel good being part of, and that you feel inspired by and interested in their work.
Well, thank you for saying that. That's really nice of you to say. And we're glad that you applied. We're glad that we can be at least a tiny part of helping you on this amazing journey that you're on. And thank you so much for applying. Thank you for joining me today. I know that everybody watching will also thank you for contributing your knowledge and your path here. So thank you again. And hopefully we will see you in the very near future accomplishing some really amazing things.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right. Thanks, Amanda.